Hey, I'm barbecuing up some Carne Asada tonight for dinner and making some beans. Can't decide whether or not I'm going to do whole or pinto, or refried beans rather, but process is basically the same. In the pan, I just have like 3 tablespoons of butter and a swirl of extra virgin olive oil, and then a one diced up whole jalapeno, and then 2 shallots diced up. I'm gonna let these saute for a little bit, and then add in some roasted garlic that I actually made last night. So I'm gonna smush that up in it, and throw the beans and let them simmer. Again, the only difference would be if I take a potato masher and smash them up, but we'll see what happens. Okay, so this has been sauteing for about 5 minutes or so, and as you can see, they're really just kind of sweating at this point. They're going to simmer here with some pinto beans, and to this I'm just going to add a little bit of onion powder, even though I have shallots in here, just like that, maybe like a half a teaspoon. Again, when I cook, I don't typically measure stuff out. A touch of cayenne, and like literally, that's about it. A little bit of onion powder. The first one was garlic powder, my god. So just a little bit of onion powder and garlic powder. And then I'm going to add in my roasted garlic. I'm going to smush those up here in a second. And then some chili powder, some dark stuff. New hot Mexico chili powder. And some ground Californian chili pepper. I know they probably are just about the same. I'm gonna turn my heat down a little bit and smush up these garlic cloves real quick. That way all that roasted garlic can kind of get all the way through everything. Oops. Stir that around. We're kind of in the rush, which is where I'm determining whether or not to actually make these refried beans and smash them down. But I don't know, I guess the same thing. Here I just have a couple cans of pinto beans, and I drained about 1/3 of the juice out of it, and I'm just gonna dump those in. Perfect. Give that a quick stir. And I don't know if I said this earlier about when I seasoned my shallot and my jalapeno. I just used some seasonal, honestly. I feel like going through and getting, the various salts and whatnot. The only thing I kind of regret is not using bacon salt, but I actually think that we're out right now. So I do want some moisture or some liquid in here to help soften up the beans. Again, if we end up eating these as whole beans, it'll kind of be a little bit soupy, which we like. We like to dip our tortillas and whatnot in there. If I end up smashing these and making refried beans, then the moisture will help break all those beans down and combine and become lovely, and hopefully, well, depending on how I make them, but hopefully a little bit softer, so you can like dip chips and stuff like that in it. But we'll let these go, and honestly, I'm gonna let these cook for about 45 minutes. I'm gonna throw some tin foil in here so I don't get splatter marks and things like that, because I have white cabinets and I don't want to fuck them up. But yeah, I'm gonna throw some tin foil in this and let them simmer. Probably turn up my heat to about medium or so, but we'll be back. All right, so these have been cooking for about 20 minutes. Having the tin foil over the cast iron pan sped up the process, and so they were ready to be smashed a lot earlier than what I anticipated to begin with. But that's fine, because I want to smash these and like let them sit there for a second. And I just take a potato smasher myself and just smash that. Just go around the pan just like this. I still want a few beans that aren't completely just demolished by this for some texture and whatnot. Just like the mashed potatoes, we do like a little bit of chunkiness to our refried beans. So I'm gonna continue to do this and I'll be back. All right, so this is about the consistency that I'm looking for in my refried beans. Again, just want to make sure that every inch of the pan has been pressed down. And like I mentioned earlier, if you happen to escape and are still partial, that's quite all right too. You can do whatever you want to your own recipe. This is how we like it. Plus, it gives me a good chance to smash up that roasted garlic that we added, because I know I didn't do a good enough job with my spatula. But that's about it. Now I'm gonna taste here and see if I need any additional seasonings. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna use my pinky. Now, they're seasoned perfect. And I didn't add that much seasoning when I seasoned the jalapenos and the onions. Maybe just like a few dashes. Again, I don't necessarily weigh out everything that I do. I probably should, but I don't. I'm just gonna go based on instinct. Sometimes it works for me, sometimes it doesn't. And that's exactly what I'm looking for right there. Those are being done perfect with some carne asada. And then we have some little street taco shells that we're gonna make here. And she julienned some jalapenos and then rough chopped some red onion. And so those are on the grill right now, and we'll be back. Something I wanted to say real quick too, if I was gonna take the time to do these for like a party or poker party or whatever, a Super Bowl, I would probably start off with some type of pork fat to saute my onions and jalapenos in, and then kind of let it go from there. But typically I like a little bit of like that bacon flavor in there, which is why I use bacon salt. And on this one, we actually ran out, but yeah, just to add an extra layer of flavor. But all right, so my grill's going. I use a Weber, love charcoal. You know, I had a gas grill for a little bit, and yeah, I have a Weber Smoky Mountain for smoking, a 22.5 inch, and this is a Weber Performer 22.5 inch, and I just love if I can taste the charcoal. I ended up giving my gas grill to a buddy of mine. But here's the jalapenos and the shallots that my wife had chopped up, and I have some chicken breast that I've marinated in some expiring, it hadn't expired just yet, but some P.F. Chang's teriyaki sauce, as well as some soy sauce. I'm just making these for her for lunches throughout the week and whatnot. Again, with the pandemic, we really scaled back on the amount of stuff that we wasted, and if we were using charcoal to cook any like steaks or burgers or whatever else, we also kind of thought about like whatever meals we might want during the week, and threw that on as well. And so we'll let those cook for a little bit, because the sugars from the teriyaki sauce, these may burn at points. And I'm sorry, I'm trying to film and turn at the same time, so if this turns out like shit, then I apologize. But anyways, with the sugars from the teriyaki sauce, they tend to burn, so I have it all the way open. I just want to get a good sear on it, cook them till at least 165 degrees. I'll be able to tell that myself with the tongs. And here we have our carne asada that I'll be grilling tonight as well. We go down to a place called Campo's to buy our carne asada, and they have it marinated. It's some of the best stuff ever. We'll see how it turns out. I'm going to throw it on here in a second. It's not going to take very long to cook whatsoever because it's super thin. I'm going to focus on these chicken thighs and make sure that they do not burn because, again, the sugars from the teriyaki sauce, they'll cook fast, especially on an open grill like this. As you can see, yep. That one's going to be good though. Charcoal, I just kind of play around with it. Move it to the hottest parts, get it cooking real good, and move it over to the coolest spots. Most people will set up their grills like this with a hot spot and a colder spot. I don't typically do that. I don't know, when cooking something fast like this, I just sear it, grill it, and move on with life. I'm gonna watch these, and as you can see, they are turning out fairly good. You can see the coals down there, hotter than shit. Her peppers and shallots, cooking some butter and some seasonal, and I'm going to throw the carne asada on here in just a second. And these thighs are just turning out dandy. They look good. So I'm trying to flip so they don't burn. I want teriyaki sugar. These are going to be awesome. Really juicy more. I'm going to try not to overcook them because when you heat it up when you heat it up in like rice or whatever else that she plans on doing with this, I don't want the thighs to be dried out. That's easy to do with the thigh, probably more so the breast, but yeah, I mean, I just want it to be good. We're actually going to make a similar dish like this for dinner one night and decided not to. Our own version of happy teriyaki. But not doing that, and we're lazy and did something else. Those look perfect to me, so I'm going to pull these off here in about a minute, I would say. Not very long. These thighs are thin, so they're going to cook fast, especially on the grill like this. Probably run like 600 degrees, if not more. I want that for the carne asada to get a nice char on it. Alright, so as you can see, these thin ass pieces of beef don't take very long to cook at all. My vents are wide open, everything is just blaring right now with heat, and as you can see, these are cooking up beautifully. Not super happy about the carne asada, I gotta admit. Again, we'll probably just stick with Campo's, that place downtown that I was telling you about. I don't know, a little thicker than what I like, and honestly, when they marinated it, they just kind of stuck a bunch of slices in together and started marinating it, which, I don't know. There's some pieces in here that didn't get any of the marinade, so, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it still looks damn good, don't get me wrong. That piece is going to be awesome. My wife likes her carne asada like jerky, so I'm going to continue to watch these, and, yeah. So, this is the final batch. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of this carne asada from the store. It's a little thicker than what I typically like for carne asada, but, you know, we'll just roll with it. It still looks delicious, in my opinion. Let's see how tender it is, though. And right there, to see anything that our onions and jalapenos are probably good. Yeah, look at that. Looks good to me.